father called me into his bedroom, and I entered. And I'll never forget this. There was an envelope full of money. Then I didn't know how much, because then I hadn't seen any of those before. But now I know it was around $35,000 thereabouts. It was in a big envelope, and there was a bottle of oil by the envelope. Because I was in America for about 4 months, 4 weeks, ministering with him. We went to almost 9 cities. And then, when I saw the envelope, I started dreaming. I said, today, Nima Marcus is in trouble. I'm going to buy myself some Gucci shoes and some Prada bags and some. I'm going to get this land. When I got there, Papa said, son, I said, Papa, he said, there are 2 things on my table. You can't go with both things. You can only go with one. I said, what do you mean? He said, you either go with the oil or you go with the envelope. I said, devil, I bind you. He said, don't try to bind me. I am unbindable. He picked it up in the spirit. And I said, Papa, okay, then let me go outside a bit. I was shaking. It was in winter, but I was sweating. I went out and I prayed. God said, I thought you were wise. I didn't know you were a fool. I said, what did I do to be insulted? After all this emotional turmoil, you also insulted me. He said, yes. Go back and see well. Then I went back. Papa said, are you back? I said, no, Papa, I'm not back. Wait. I was watching the thing and something hit me. When I stood by the envelope, I couldn't see the oil in the envelope. But when I see the oil, I could see the envelope reflecting in the oil. And then that is where my story changed. I went back to Papa. I said, Papa. He said, son, what is your verdict? I said, take your envelope and give me the oil. Because in the oil, I can see the envelope. But in the envelope, I cannot see the oil. And that's how my story changed. Look at what happened. He said, you have passed the test of time. I'll never forget this, because it's still so fresh. Although it's been like almost 20 years, it feels so fresh in my spirit. I came to Ghana without $500 in my pocket. Coming home to a wife and kids. When I came home, I told them as well, I've never experienced such a thing. We are going to buy this land. We are going to do this. We are going to do that. And yet there was nothing in my pocket. And I watched this. I was there. And there was a church I ministered in every single year. When I preached in, the best they gave me was 5,000. And I was start those days. I could go into a city and preach for 3 weeks. Walk out with 3,000 euros. 3 weeks. You can imagine. You don't want to eat their food. You don't want to wear what they give to you. So by the time the 3 weeks is over, where is the 3,000 euro? And it has gone on for years and years and years. But from the day my father poured that oil on me and soaked my life the second time, the church I went into, I visited them once a year. 2 weeks after, they called me in Ghana, the secretary. Bishop wants me to ask you if you have time to come back to this side. I said, why not? I'm ready. And all my target was towards the $5,000. You know, if you haven't seen anything yet, anything is something to you. So, for the first time in their history, they had never bought my ticket. They called me 2 hours time and they said, a business class ticket is ready for you. I said, oh, then something might be happening. Watch this business. From that time till now, I have never bought my ticket anywhere because God won. Never. Never. And yet it is difficult to meet my itinerary. It's difficult. Everywhere I go, ticket is being bought for 2 years, 3 years. Paid. Cash. At times, some of them paid double. So they are able to keep the diary. You know what I'm talking about. The pastors and the bishops understand what I mean. And so, it was ready. I fly in. The bishop said, Prophet Victor, we need you for just one Sunday. So rest Friday, rest Saturday. I went and I preached 45 minutes. I go to my hotel. My check was ready. $78,000. From that time up to today, watch this. From that time up to today, it is. I don't even remember where I've gone over the world that somebody can look into my eyes and tell me I give you $10,000 or 20. I've never asked. I've never fought with anybody ever. I have never in my ministry. Never. I have never asked. He is my son, you can ask him. I've never asked of anything from any of my sons. Never in my life. I'm too big to beg. But somehow, the very people that were giving me 2,000, go to their churches and they are giving you 50,000, 20,000, 100,000. The very places. And then I realized that it's because in those days too, I was preaching for 1 week, but now I never do more than 3 days. I never do more than 2 days. If I love you, I'll do 2 days. If I love you extra, I do 3 days. So I don't go beyond it. Watch it. Those days, I remember I was in Abidjan. They gave me the microphone by 7, 8 a.m. Bishop. I finished the next day 6 a.m. I used to work harder than I am now. I will preach 3 weeks for a church. Now I do 3 days. And I'm receiving 10 times what I was getting when I was working harder. I've come to understand that it is not how hard you work, but it is how connected you are.